The home opener has finally arrived for the UMass Boston softball team after the traditional foray down south known to any New England softball squad. They come back home. Doubleheader with Bridgewater yesterday, a couple of wins to get back on the high side of the scoreboard, and they come into this one 9-2, looking to cement their reputation and put the other LEC teams on notice heading into conference play. But they got two more doubleheaders before that happens. And today it's the Emmanuel College Saints coming into this one at 6-6 after a doubleheader win of their own earlier in the week. The squad's prepared to square off in a couple of games originally penciled in for tomorrow. With some weather impending in the Boston area, the switch was made, and here we are. It's going to be Bree Melchionda starting game one for the Beacons. We expect Emily Doble in game two. Tiana Daw is starting opposite her for Emmanuel College. The first pitch in there for a strike, and away we go. Thank you so very much for joining us on the Beacons Broadcast Network. My name is Milton Posner. Pleasure to be bringing you this pair of games between the Beacons in those home blues with a black and white trim against the Saints in their road blacks, as there's a line drive smacked into center field. It's a clean base hit off the bat of the leadoff hitter, Taylor Chelik. So the Saints have the leadoff hitter aboard. We'll give you a quick rundown of their lineup. Chelik, the center fielder, hitting in the leadoff spot. She's followed up by her left fielder, Julianne Pacheco. Amanda Penny, the second baseman, batting third. In the heart of the order, it's the first baseman, Megan Amsler, shortstop Olivia Conti, and the designated player, Emma Crisafulli. As Melchionda winds fires, showing bunt at the plate and pulling back is Pacheco. And then rounding out the lineup in the 7, 8, and 9 spots, the third baseman, Christina Winstead, the catcher, Sammy Hayes, and the right fielder, Lila Niederberger. Corners running up again with a bunt shown and another ball as Pacheco pulls the bat back. It's Lauren Bethia at third, Jordan Toomey at first, crashing the plate on each of these last two pitches. The Saints seem content to play small ball, showing bunt again. It's down cleanly. Toomey's only play is to first. And the runner, and they pick her back at second. How's that for a double play? 3, 4, 6. Have you ever seen it? Chelik a little bit too lackadaisical going around the second base bag. And an alert second baseman, Haley Tilbury, covering at first, notices and gets the job done. Well, speaking of the defense behind Melchionda, with two gone, they go this way. Sophie Richland, Sydney Sandin, and Amari English going left to right in the outfield. Toomey at first, Haley Tilbury at second. And then the Laurens on the left side, Minor and Bethia at short and third, respectively, with Tam Landry in the flex position catching Bree Melchionda. Melchionda's coming into this one having started 5 games, gone the distance in each and every one of them, with a sparkling earned run average of 1.62 and 53 strikeouts in just 34 innings, as a bloop to Toomey at first is going to send us to the bottom of the first. Melchionda allows the leadoff single but faces the minimum, and it'll be the top of the Beacons order due up next. Tiana Daw, the senior righty out of Lynn, Massachusetts, standing 5'9" over on that pitching plate, digging in and ready to face the Beacons lineup. This is her 10th appearance on the season, her 8th start. Like the Beacons, the Saints are going two starters deep rather. She's got a record of 3-6 in 42 innings pitched with an earned run average of 3.47. The pitching for the Saints team has been pretty solid. Both pitchers in the mid-threes earned run average-wise. But Tiana Daw is going to have to tangle with a formidable Beacons lineup, one with any number of 300 and 400 plus hitters. And it's going to be the left fielder Sophie Richland to lead it off, followed by the second baseman Haley Tilbury and the center fielder and senior captain Sydney Sandin. So the Beacons, when they've won, and they have won often in the early going this season, 9 out of 11, they've done it with the offense. More than anything. Richland coming in hitting .269, singles only so far. Runs up and takes ball one low. You can see her batting from the left side of the plate. This is something that up until about a month or two ago, she hadn't really done in any kind of competitive setting, at least not consistently. But she came to head coach Natalia Ardagna and asked about switching sides. Pitch comes home, the run up, and ball two. Was not something that Ardagna was a stranger to. She'd had a couple of players, Amanda Chanchuli, Giovanna Bonilla, who had done it before. It's a difficult sort of thing. It requires the right sort of mental and physical skill set to do, as that one's going to be over for a strike. 2-1. Requires the right skill set, and it requires the right player needs. Typically somebody who you feel could be hitting better. Somebody speedy who would really benefit from starting each at-bat a step or two closer to first base. There's a run-up and a little half-hearted swing as she looks toward the dugout. She didn't have the best read on that pitch. And the count draws even at 2-2. But Ardagna said this is a player who she feels good about doing this. She can always revert if she needs to, but she's very coachable, asks a lot of questions, wants to learn. There's a slap hit inside a third and down the line, and a base hit for Richland to lead it off. Another hit from that left side of the plate as she continues to work in a new skill at the collegiate level in her freshman year. Big 6-footer out of Burlington is on base. Burlington, Vermont, that is. And it'll be Haley Tilbury to bring up the number 2 spot. This is a player who hit .318 last season, slugged just south of 500, had a terrific year from the plate. 6 doubles, 6 triples. And this season has started out even better. Big secondary lead for Richland at first as she traipses back to the bag. The defense behind Tiana Dahl line up this way. Julianne Pacheco, Taylor Chelik, and Lila Niederberger from left to right in the outfield. That one tails away. Back pick at first, and diving back to the bag safely is Richland. The infield, it's Christina Winstead at third, Olivia Conti at short, Amanda Penny at second, Megan Amsler at first, and it's Sammy Hayes in the catcher spot for Tiana Daw, who's also living in the flex position today, as that one's hacked back into the screen. 1-2 to Haley Tilbury. Senior infielder out of Moosic, Pennsylvania. Aggressive getting on base and aggressive once she gets there. Likes legging out extra base hits. It's all about grinding, her coach says. And the mental approach has risen this year to match the physical tools. 5 times this season she has scored multiple times in a game, including in the team's last 2 games yesterday against Bridgewater State. Hacks that one over to the screen by us over here at the scorer's table, and the count remains 2-2. So Richland at first after a base hit down the left field line. chopped inside of third base against a hot corner that was pinched in. Off for the bag she goes. That one's popped up. It'll be easy pickings for Megan Amsler at first. There is one away, and the batter will be Sydney Sandin. Sandin's coming into this one with a resume. After hitting .325 last season in a campaign she was certainly happy with, she has unlocked things in the first 11 games this season, as you can see. Can't even get through the intro, and the ball's in right field. Another base hit for the Beacons. They have 2 on. They are very much in business with 1 out. And Bree Melchionda is coming up with a chance to clean up. Melchionda, of the 2 starting pitchers for the Beacons, the other being Emily Doble, Melchionda is the one who's going to give you something from the plate as well. That one opened up a little bit too early and just missed clearing the bases down the right field line. Jumped all over that first pitch offering from Tiana Daw, who has not showed swing and miss stuff to this top 4 in the Beacons lineup so far. On the season, she's got 25 strikeouts in those 42 innings against just 8 walks. Is pitched very well by pretty much any measure you want to use, as that one bounces in for ball 1. 1-1 to Bree Melchionda. Sophie Richland leading from second. Sydney Sandin from first. Melchionda a little bit late on that one and skies it over by the brick facade down the left field line. She is hitting .474 across 19 at-bats, so 9 out of 19 to start. 5 of those 9 hits have been of the extra base variety. 1 of them cleared the fence. Lest you wonder about how well the pitcher hits, she's got some muscle on her. Ground ball, looks like it hit off her foot in the batter's box and dribbled foul nevertheless. 1-2 the count. Melchionda started now 6 games on the mound. 3 additional games as a position player. Her best start coming yesterday, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Season high 14 strikeouts as a back pick at second on a hop is too late. 2-2. 6th pitch of the at-bat coming to Bree Melchionda. Back of the box, here comes the pitch. Once again, a little bit late getting the bat head out, and she stays alive. It's a single to left for Richland, a pop-up for Tilbury, and a single to right from Sandin. Station to station went the leadoff hitter, Richland. Infield corners pinched in a little bit, otherwise a double play depth. Pitch is high to run the count full. And so Melchionda is making Tiana Daw work for it in the early going. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up. It's only 19 at-bats, but Melchionda is slugging .842. Ground ball hit sharply to first. To the bag goes the first baseman, Amsler, but that's all they'll get. Runners move over, and with second and third and 2 out, it'll be Lauren Miner's job to get the runs home. Miner's a freshman hitting right in the middle of the lineup. Won Rookie of the Week a couple of weeks ago in the Little East. It's been a strong start for her, and she wisely lays off the outside first pitch fastball. She's got 8 walks to just 5 strikeouts to go along with a .357 average and an extra base hit, at least one of every variety. Another pitch outside and a fake back pick there. And once again, Dawes fallen behind the hitter. Infield coordinating their coverage. Amari English is on deck, the big number 6 hitter for the Beacons, should Minor reach. He takes a strike on the 3rd pitch here. 2-1. Richland from 3rd, Sandin from 2nd. 2-1 pitch is hacked off into the screen, 2-2. Daw has not had swing and miss stuff, as we mentioned. What she does have is the ability to force the ball in on that handle, as you can see, and she's getting some late swings out of hitters from both sides of the plate. And now is 1 strike away from escaping the inning unscathed. Not going to get it on that one. Count runs full with first base open and 2 runners in scoring position. Three-two pitch comes Minor's way. Strike 3 called. First strikeout of the game for Daw comes at a critical time as the Beacons leave 2 stranded at the end of 1 full, no score. Megan Amsler, Olivia Conti, and Emma Christofouli coming to bat in the top of the 2nd inning against Bree Melchionda, who gave up a leadoff hit but faced the minimum thanks to a 3-4-6 double play on a would-be sacrifice bunt where the runner, Taylor Chelik, just wandered a little too far off the second base bag and got back-picked. Oh, and that one's coming in off the forearm and a painful trip to first, but a trip to first nevertheless for Amsler. So the hit by pitch, 5th of the season for Melchionda. And getting hit by one of her fastballs is probably, well, you'd rather get hit by pretty much anyone else's in attendance today. She's got some smoke to her. And she's going to have to use it against Olivia Conti, standing front of the box now with a runner on base, the infield looking for a double play. Melchionda comes home. The bunt is down. Toomey's going to know. Melchionda's going to field go to first. So the bunt's going to work this time. There is to be no back pick at second base in the 2nd inning. And now the batter is Emma Christofouli. Christofouli coming into this one with just 12 at-bats on the season, 3 hits in those at-bats. Melchionda comes home with the first pitch, and it's low for a ball. Infielder no longer looking for a ground ball double play. The Saints looking for a base hit to plate the game's first run. As Melchionda fires outside 2-0. Swing and a miss, and that's what Melchionda can do for you. Just rear back and find the rocket sauce. 2-1 the count now. Pop fly over towards second and an easy snag for Tilbury. 2 outs in the inning now. And Christina Winstead with the last chance to plate the run.
Now batting the third baseman, number 10, Christina Winstead.
So it's up to Winstead. 10 hits and 23 trips so far this season with a couple of doubles. She has driven in 5. Maybe more importantly, she's reached half the time. A few walks to go along with those hits, has been showing herself to be disciplined in the early going this season. In her first year, freshman out of Uncasville, Connecticut. And a comebacker to Melchionda, that's going to take care of business. The hit by pitch doesn't come back to bite her. And 1.5 in the books. Melchionda's looking good. Amari English, Jordan Toomey, Lauren Bethia, the 6, 7, 8 spots. Due up in the bottom of the second inning for Natalia Ardagna and the UMass Boston Beacons. English, a player who played a bit last year and struggled a bit. Didn't necessarily hit the way she wanted to, but she certainly is now. And that one's run down in the gap. You can see the power going the other way. But it's going to be a solid fly out and nothing more than that to the right fielder. Ranging over to make the catch there was Niederberger. Now Jordan Toomey to the dish with a batting average a few ticks above where it was last season. And a player who her head coach says the biggest thing, she does not strike out a ton, and the numbers bear it out. Just 4 strikeouts through her first 35 plate appearances this season. She is on pace to smash her career high in that category. In her senior season, a regular member of the starting lineup, has started now all 12 games that the Beacons have played. But taking a second strike here to put herself in an 0-2 hole. That open stance. Reaches out and pokes one in a shallow right center. That one's going to drop. And a clever piece of 2-strike hitting for Jordan Toomey has her on with 1 out. And the Beacons bench chants all day, all day, all day, all day. And that's what they're going to be looking for. This is the front end of a doubleheader. Both of these teams having played one recently. The Beacons went up against Bridgewater State yesterday on Bridgewater's home field with a 9-1 win in 5 innings and a 7-1 win in the full 7. As Bethea well behind that first pitch heater and a count 0-1. Caitlin Sawyer, the designated player, is on deck. Bethea, a player her coach says is working hard to adjust and is providing some power in the lineup with a couple of doubles early on in the season. That one fades low and away for a ball. 1-1. It's Lauren Bethea, excuse me. Coming into this game, the strikeout to walk ratio has been a little bit of an issue as she's tried to settle in her junior season. She's expected to be shouldering a little bit more of the offensive load. And today, at least, forming that all Lauren left side of the infield along with Lauren Miner. Tiana Daw coming home with a 2-0. 2-1, excuse me, make it 2-2. As that one's popped foul over the Beacons dugout down the first base line. The Toomey at first, she has stolen 2 bases in 2 tries. The Beacons as a team have stolen very efficiently, 17 out of 20, good for 3rd in the LEC. They have not tested the waters yet, as there's a line drive up in the middle. That's going to be played on a hop. Scuttling into second base is Toomey. The Beacons are in business again with 1 out, and the batter will be Caitlin Sawyer. Well, life may be your creation, but the Beacons are hoping she can create a run here with a base hit. She's got 20 at-bats on the season. 8 of them have yielded hits. 5 of them have driven in a run. She's got a chance to do it here with Toomey at second, Bethea at first. Still just 1 out in the inning. Sawyer, a redshirt sophomore, hitting in the designated player spot and lines one off the pitcher. That's a painful one. That's going to squirt into right field. Coming home to score the game's first run is Toomey. Now you just hope that Daw is going to be okay. She's flexing that pitching hand. So I'm going to get someone out there to look at her and make sure that she is okay. But it's an RBI base hit for Caitlin Sawyer to plate the run. Off the pitcher, Tiana Daw. She's going to try to throw a couple of warm-up pitches in here and see what she can do. It's an inconvenient time to have it happen. She's still got a couple of runners on base here as the Beacons lineup turns over to a top half that has looked pretty strong in the first 11 games of the season. She's getting some reinforcement there from her teammates. Remember, the Beacons 9-2 coming into this one. Emmanuel College at 6-6 after a doubleheader win against Emerson their last time out. But the Beacons had some eventful wins down in South Carolina. They won their first 4, 7 of their first 8. They beat a pretty solid Utica team to hand them their first loss as the bunt is popped up. That's going to be an easy second out for the pitcher, Daw. Sophie Richland is retired. And now with 2 out and 2 on, it's Haley Tilbury to try to extend the inning.
The second baseman, number 3, Haley Tilbury.
Tilbury popped to first her last time up, and will pop it down the first base line, but foul here. Sailing just over the heads of some unwitting pedestrians. The count is 0-1. Tilbury has driven in 6 this season from the number 2 spot. Low and a little bit away. Caitlin Sawyer on first after the RBI hit. Lauren Bethia at second. 2 outs in the inning. Tilbury socks that one down the right field line, but it'll hang up for the right fielder, Niederberger. But the Beacons get 1 on an RBI single from Caitlin Sawyer to plate Jordan Toomey. And at the end of 2, 1-0 UMass Boston.
Now batting for the Saints, the catcher, number 6, Sammy Hayes.
8, 9, and 1 spots in the top of the 3rd inning for head coach Olivia Berry and the Emmanuel College Saints. That would be the catcher, Sammy Hayes, who takes ball 1 high above the tip of the cap. Followed by the right fielder, Lila Niederberger, who made that last catch to end the Beacons half of the 2nd, and Taylor Chelik, the center fielder. Melchionda checks the wrist, peeks home, winds, fires low. 2-0. Neither pitcher has gotten as ahead in as many counts as they would have liked to. The 2-0 pitch comes home inside, ball 3. And so Melchionda, who does not walk too many batters, he's got 14 walks this season against 53 strikeouts. Comes home and evades the walk for the moment. 3-1. She has not struck out a batter, and curious, guesses it's been a while since she got this far into a game without a strikeout. 3-1 pitch. Fought off the hands, 3-2. Full count now. Melchionda fires home. And that one got away from her a little bit. On her way down to first, jogging with a walk, is Sammy Hayes. So for the 3rd consecutive inning, the Saints have the leadoff hitter aboard. There's a single in the 1st inning, a hit by pitch in the 2nd, now a walk in the 3rd. And with that runner on and still nobody out, the batter will be the right fielder, Lila Niederberger. Hitting .227 on the season with a couple of extra base hits. The runner's off as the pitch once again off the tip of Landry's glove. It's another wild pitch from Melchionda. And a runner in scoring position with nobody out is the price she pays. Melchionda with a 1-0 count. Fastball and swinging right through it is Niederberger. The hitting is going to be the area to look at for the Saints. This is a team hitting just .257 coming in. Swing and a miss, and the count's 1-2. They have just one regular hitter make it two regular hitters with an average above 300. Everyone else is 275 or further south out of their regular starters. And they're not going to get the call that the dugout was hoping for on that one. 2-2 the count. The slugging percentage also, I think, south of where they would ideally like it to be. .341 for the Saints compared to the Beacons, which is just a shadow above 500. Good for one of the best marks in the conference. Here's the pitch. A lot of juice, but not enough location, and the count runs full to the second straight hitter. Payoff pitch to come from Melchionda, still looking for her first strikeout of the game. Line drive down the right field line. Fair ball and foul ball, excuse me. Very close, a little tricky visibility down the line there, but it could not have been foul by more than about 6 inches. And Niederberger is going to see another 3-2 offering. Oh, that's a tough swing to put on it, and it gets through Bethia at third. It's going to be runners at the corners with nobody out. It's being ruled an error on the third baseman as that one just ate her up a little bit. A hot shot down the line at third. And so a big one there, a stop there. You can hold the runner at second, get the out at first. Instead, it's first and third with nobody out. As they go back to the top of the order and Taylor Chelik. First pitch, another ball from Melchionda. She has not gotten ahead of any of the first 3 hitters this inning. Chelik checks the signs. The runner at second, Niederberger, has not stolen a base this year, has not attempted a steal. Melchionda comes home with a 1-0 pitch, grounded to third, chopping foul. Cheers come forth from the dugout. 1-1 pitch. Runners off for second. It's the first attempted steal of the year. The throw's into center field. And the first run of the game for the Saints comes through on Beacon miscues in the field. Still no hits in the inning for Emmanuel. But a walk to Sammy Hayes. Advancing to second on a wild pitch. Advancing to third as Niederberger reaches on an error by the third baseman Bethia. And now the throw from Landry goes into center field. That's going to be an error on the catcher to score the game's first run. Pitch comes in low. Nice block from Landry to keep the runner, Niederberger, at second. So as Hayes scoring the run, officially goes as a stolen base, Niederberger's first of the year, and then a throwing error on the catcher, Landry. Sharp grounder to third, past a diving Bethia into left field, rounding third and immediately stopping on a late stop sign from the coach Barry is Niederberger. So the first hit of the inning finally comes after the run comes in. It's off the bat of Chelik. And the bench sings when the Saints go marching in. Oh, nice touch. You got to appreciate that. First hit of the inning. Puts runners back at the corners, still with nobody out. Natalia Ardagna wants a word with her starter. Melchionda has pitched very well this season. Has gone the distance every time she has taken the bump. Or the plate, I should say. The batter is going to be Julianne Pacheco. Tried that sac bunt, would have been a sac bunt if the team had executed properly, but Chelik got back-picked at second base, and so it wound up being a double play through no fault of Pacheco's. Excuse me, is how that's pronounced. So Julianne Pacheco coming in this one hitting .207 with a double and a triple under her belt. But still looking for more hits on the season. Looking to bridge the leadoff spot to the heart of the order. And in a big spot here with still nobody out. And Melchionda, for the first time in the inning, gets a first pitch strike. .33 pitches through 2+ innings for the Beacons righty. Their junior season. Running up to bunt and popping that one foul is Pacheco. 0-2. And for Melchionda, there would be no better time for her first strikeout of the game to put the Beacons within spitting distance of salvaging the inning. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 called. Pacheco's rung up looking on a fastball over the outer half. And the first out of the inning will bring up Amanda Penny.
Now batting for the Saints, the second baseman, number 23, Amanda Penny.
Fastball high, 1-0. So Chelik singled and then advanced to second on the throw. A little bit of savvy base running to put runners at second and third as Melchionda tattoos the outside edge. High pop fly. Landry makes a move on it, almost stumbles over the mask, but does make the catch. Batter's retired. It's the second out of the inning, and the batter will be Megan Amsler. It's a tricky play to make there. Catchers at pretty much every level of the sport are taught to throw the mask away so they don't risk tripping over it when they're looking for the ball. But that was a pop fly that didn't have all that much pop. Landry didn't have that much time. She'll settle in back behind the plate as Amsler, the number 4 hitter, steps to the dish, the 6th hitter of the inning. The one run in was the catcher Sammy Hayes from the number 8 spot, scoring the equalizing run for Emmanuel College. That one gets away from Melchionda just a little bit, and the count is 2-0. Melchionda high, 3-0. It's been a ball-heavy day for her. 39 pitches now. Only about half of them strikes. It's not usually like she takes care of business. And that one's going to put a free pass aboard. Or is going to put Amsler aboard, excuse me. The bases are now juiced. And a massive opportunity for Olivia Conti. To this point, the best hitter by batting average, at least, in the lineup. Fastball high again from Melchionda, and now more balls than strikes. She's thrown 5 straight. She's now walked 2. And the Beacons this year don't really have the sort of pitching depth that they might have had last season. It's been Melchionda and Doble the starters. Adriana Fusco has been starting, or has come on in relief, a couple of times. But there isn't really a ton of firepower for the Beacons to relieve. It's no accident that Melchionda has pitched complete games every time out. The shortstop, Olivia Conti, trying to make something happen here, and she has got a 3-0 count with the bases loaded. Have to imagine she's taking all the way here. Melchionda has thrown 7 balls in a row. The controls started to come unlaced for her here. That one low but over for a strike. The speed will always be there for her, but the location is the imminent question. Can she get out of the inning with just the 1 run seeded? Swing and a miss, and the count runs full. Runners are going to be getting a running start. Niederberger at third, Chelik at second, Amsler at first. The 3-2 pitch is popped high in the air and foul. Over by the storage containers, back of the plate. 7th pitch of the at-bat coming up here. One way or the other, I think Melchionda is going to have thrown more pitches than she would have liked through 3 innings. 3-2 pitch, grounded sharply to short. Fielded there, the easy play is to third. That is where Lauren Miner goes. The Lauren to Lauren on the 6-5 force to end the inning. So the Saints get the 1 run, but strand 3, and at the end of 2.5, we are square at 1 run apiece. The Beacons come up to bat with the game tied at 1. Sydney Sandin, Brie Melchionda, Lauren Miner, the 3-4-5 spots, and Sandin with a fly ball out in the right field. Easy pickings out there for Niederberger. 1 pitch, 1 out, and the batter is Melchionda. So Sandin 1 for 2 on the day. Melchionda, her last time up, grounded to first. Got a lot of power in this bat. Throws right, hits left. That one off the tip of the glove, backing Melchionda off the plate. 1-0. Question for her at the moment is how she's going to respond when she gets back on the hill. She's so far escaped largely unpunished for throwing more balls than strikes. Tops that one off, twisting foul up along first. 1-1 the count. So Tiana Daw gave up the run in the second inning, has looked fairly solid, but has given up a few clean base hits to this Beacon lineup. Sharp ground ball, foul still by a lesser margin, but by a matter of inches, shimmies away from the bag. Sun peeking out from behind the clouds here on the harbor. It's a 50-degree day for the Beacon's home opener. Cracked into center field, going back on it and making a nice over-the-shoulder catch is Chelik for the second out. These are not the easiest balls to track. The sun is shining from between the plate and the third base dugout. So it's posing an obstacle for these outfielders, and it likely will for, another 45 minutes to an hour here. Sun not due to set for a while, but there's a 2-3-story building that's going to be casting a shadow on the field for a while. There's a line drive down the right field line. Lauren Miner's aboard. She's going to try to stretch this one. She's on her way to third. She's got a stand-up triple as that one kept on a rolling. And with 2 outs, the Beacons have the go-ahead run 60 feet away. The third triple, the team-leading third triple of the year for Lauren Miner. And the first extra base hit of the game for either squad. And it's Amari English now. The fly out her last time up, off the handle to short. And Olivia Conti is going to put this inning to bed. So a lightning fast inning despite the 2-out triple. And at the end of 3 full, we are square at 1 run. The question as we enter the top of the 4th, can Brie Melchionda find the control that has made her such a stellar pitcher this last year plus? First pitch of the inning is wide for a ball. You've got an entire team that is going up there in take mode, and rightfully so for Emmanuel. Out in front. For a sec, excuse me, the first pitch was a strike. This is 0-2. An encouraging sign for Melchionda. The batter that is the designated player, Emma Crisafulli, who takes the first ball of the AB, 1-2. She'll be followed by Christina Winstead and Sammy Hayes. Crisafulli popped to second her last time up, but is looking to continue a trend of the leadoff hitter reaching base for the Saints. Won't be so this time. Swing and a miss at the heat. And down she goes. Second strikeout of the game for Melchionda. Winstead now. Hit back to the pitcher her last time up. Takes one just below the kneecaps for a ball. I don't know that we've heard the same chant twice from this Saints dugout. Ground ball sharply hit to second, but Tilbury stays down on it for the second out. It's about making the routine plays routine, especially the first time you're playing on your home field this season. Pretty much any New England-based softball team, and this goes for baseball teams too, they've really got to be migratory birds in February and early March, in a manner of speaking. You go play in South Carolina. If you're Emmanuel College, you go down and play in Florida. To escape the cold climates, the rain, the snow, the wind, and the cold, and you vacation south in sunnier weather. Make yourself the envy of all your classmates, I'm sure. Two out in the inning. Count is 2-0. Melchionda comes home, and once again, she's going to let that one go by her to Tilbury, who calmly fires to first. So a 1-2-3 inning for Bree Melchionda is just what the doctor ordered as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Jordan Toomey, Lauren Bethia, Caitlin Sawyer, the group that manufactured the Beacons' lone run of the game, steps up in the bottom of the fourth inning against Tiana Daw. Daw has gone 45 pitches through the first 3 innings, 2/3 of them strikes. He's forced a lot more in the air than on the ground. And just as I say that, Toomey's going to send herself back to the dugout on a one-hopper back to the pitcher. We have seen quite a few of those comebackers so far from both teams, but mainly from the Saints. 1 out now with the bases empty. Bethia steps up. Single to move Toomey along her last time. That was the hit in the middle. Not the one that Toomey got on, not the RBI hit, but the one that glued the effort together. But had that key error that gave the Saints a little bit of a spark so that they could score their run. Now looking to atone. Hard contact, that one's sailing into the gap, and it'll get down and split all the way to the wall. Bethia scampering into second with a stand-up double. She is 2 for 2. With her 3rd double of the season, a runner in scoring position now with only 1 out. And the batter's the number 9 hitter, Caitlin Sawyer. Fun fact about Caitlin Sawyer, she is apparently a Barbie girl, living in a Barbie world. if the music is to be believed. Takes ball one low and perhaps off the black. Sawyer still acclimating to the pitchers on the days that she catches. It's the biggest ongoing project. She chips that one back. She's only done it for about a month and a half. She's adjusting quickly, her head coach says, but it's a difficult thing to do even when you've only got 2 or 3 pitchers to handle. You got to adjust to what their stuff is. You got to know when to call. You got to know how to read them, where their energy level is, what they have a feel for and what they don't. That one smacked hard. Nice pick at third by Winstead. Scampering over to third on the throw is Bethia. And with 2 outs and a runner on third, we go back to the top of the lineup for Sophie Richland. Richland singled her first time up. Popped a bunt to the pitcher her last time and swings through into center field. Bethia clapping all the way home from third. It's an RBI single for Sophie Richland, and the Beacons lead it 2-1. So the lead does not last long for the Saints. About an inning and the tie does not last long for the Saints. About an inning and change. And now Richland moving off of first as that one's popped up behind by Haley Tilbury, the number 2 hitter. Coming into the day, hitting a titanic .419 with 6 extra base hits through 11 games. But hitless in her first 2 trips. 0-1 pitch home, popped foul again with a little more juice this time, but in an 0-2 hole she goes. Natalia Dragna said she's crediting the mental approach that Tilbury has developed in good part to the guidance from her fellow senior Sydney Sandin, who's been working those sorts of things out for herself. It's partly about not getting discouraged. You understand that you're in a sport where you're going to fail a bulk of the time, but Tilbury's not going to fail there. That one's up the middle. Richland's going first to third, sliding in. Ball's loose. Taking second as the ball squibs over toward the dugout is Tilbury. So a single with an extra base thrown in. There are 2 runners in scoring position now with 2 out. And the Beacons with a chance to really tack on here. And the hitter up at the plate is exactly the one you want. Sydney Sandin, the senior captain. 5:14 coming into the day. 1 of 2, but flied out her last time up. And a meeting on the mound here. Deal with a hitter that's got some wiry strength to her, but has been primarily a singles hitter so far this season. 17 hits. Correction, make it 20 hits, 17 of which are singles. The dugout trying to buck up their pitcher. After Toomey grounded back to the pitcher. Bethia doubled. Sawyer grounded back to the pitcher, and a couple of hits have combined to plate a run. And now it's Sandin with a chance to do some damage. That one squibs away. The umpire's calling it dead, and it hits Sandin, it would appear, as the call. So she goes down to first. The bases are now loaded, and the buck has been passed to Bree Melchionda. We have you surrounded, chants the Beacons dugout, and indeed they do. Melchionda, who grounded to first her first time up, flied to center her second time, was robbed of a would-be extra base hit by a nice jump from the center fielder Taylor Chelik to run it down. If she can find the outfield grass here, she'll really aid her cause. That one's flown into left field, though, and a routine catch for Pacheco ends the inning. So the Beacons regain the lead but leave the bases loaded, and at the end of 4 full, it's 2-0 in favor of UMass Boston. What a friend. Welcome one, welcome all to the top of the 5th inning. We got a nail biter on our hands as Brie Melchionda retakes the plate and fires low for a ball. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit here right off the harbor, to the immense joy and happiness of everyone here. The dugout chants jump on it, and the one they're hoping will jump on it is Lila Niederberger in the number 9 spot. She'll be followed by Taylor Chelik, the center fielder in the 1 spot, and then the left fielder, Julianne Pacheco. Melchionda comes home at the waist for a strike. Swiveling the hips out of the way was Niederberger. One run on 2 hits and 2 Beacon errors for the Saints, as Haley Tilbury is going to dispose of her 3rd consecutive batter going back to the last inning, making them all look routine. And Chelik comes to the plate. So 1 run on 2 hits and 2 Beacon errors for the Saints. The Beacons have 2 runs on 9 hits through 4 innings. Beacons have also stranded at least 1 runner in every inning, 8 overall. That one's grounded up the middle past a diving minor and into center field for a knock. So Chelik is 2 for 3, and Pacheco is going to have a chance to hit with a runner on base. Pacheco retired on a sac bunt, turned into a double play through no fault of her own the first time. Struck out looking from Melchionda's first K of the game her last time up. Check swing but couldn't hold up, and the count is 0-1. Oh, 0-1 pitch. Grounded to third. It's going to stay fair for Bethea, who fires to first for the out. Hustling down the line was Pacheco, but she is retired. And with 2 out now, and Taylor Chelik on second, the batter is Amanda Penny. So the groundouts have been coming in droves for Melchionda. 8 groundouts against 3 flyouts including pop-outs here. Exactly the inverse for Tiana Daw of Emmanuel. 1-0 the count to Amanda Penny with a runner in scoring position. Melchionda fires low. And ahead in the count here is Penny. Two 2-0 pitch comes home. That one is high, and high here is a bit of a misnomer. You've got a batter at the plate here in Penny, who stands just 5'1" and is toting a much smaller strike zone to the plate than most. But Melchionda finds it on a 3-0 pitch. Beacons coming into this one at 9-2, saying it's their first in the Little East Conference, a little bit disingenuous. Conference play hasn't started. But they've got the best non-conference record of any LEC team to this point, as ball 4 sails high. A 5-pitch walk, the 4th that Melchionda has issued. Very uncharacteristic. She has not been historically walk-averse by any means, but she has been pretty on the ball. Penny takes the walk. Chelik still hanging out over at second. That pitch bounces in a couple of times as she didn't get the release point that she wanted. But it has indeed been, 3 walks for issued by Bree Melchionda, who'd issued just 14 across her previous 5 starts. Now has 3 through 4 2/3 innings. Megan Amsler's the hitter. She's got a 2-0 count. That one bounces in, a beautiful stop from Landry. 3-0 the count. Handling a carpet crawler there. And a meeting on the mound here with her pitcher to try to figure out what's going on with the control. "35 strikes, 72 pitches for Melchionda, and you have a range here, but you don't want to be throwing more balls than strikes. She has limited them with 2 outs. She has limited them with runners on base. But the Saints have had traffic pretty much the entire time. Leadoff hitter has reached 3 out of 5 innings. There has been 1 runner on base in every inning save for the 4th. And another walk issued here. The 4th of the game is going to load the bases for the 2nd time. Taylor Chelik at 3rd, Amanda Penny at 2nd, Megan Amsler at 1st. And popping that one high and foul is the shortstop Olivia Conti. A sacrifice her first time up, a fielder's choice her 2nd time. That fielder's choice coming on a 6-5 play, a force at 3rd with the bases loaded. And for the 2nd straight time, she has a chance with every base full. Off speed, loops high, and the count is 1-1. Tiana Daw, by contrast, has got 41 strikes out of 60 pitches. The Beacons have been a little more aggressive on first pitches, but the control has also been there for Daw pretty consistently. Melchionda, on the other hand, 76 pitches now. Make it 75. 30 strikes, 35 strikes, 40 balls for the junior right-hander out of Marshfield, Mass. She's got a 1-2 count now, a chance to polish off, and a beautiful off speed, ballooning up and out of the zone for the third out. So Melchionda wriggles off the hook, and despite subpar control, at least by her standards, she is through 5 innings with just the 1 run allowed. These teams have stranded the bases loaded 3 times now. Well, UMass is doing okay. They're just not stringing anything together. Yeah. Well, I'm inclined to take your word for it because the bottom of the 5th has arrived. It's Lauren Miner, Amari English, Jordan Toomey, the 5, 6, and 7 spots. And for Miner, hit her 3rd triple of the year her last time up, but did it with 2 outs and was stranded on the next pitch. As that ball comes hopping in like a bunny rabbit for ball 2. Miner struck out looking her first time before hitting that triple. It was a missile down the right field line. There was a lot of space there with the way the outfield was shading her. They're not shading her that way anymore. She's got a 2-1 count now. Off speed gets her out in front, and the count is 2-2. These teams have stranded the bases loaded 3 times between them. Once for the Beacons, who have stranded multiple runners now in 3 of the 4 innings they've come to the plate. Off speed rings her up. Miner's down looking for the 2nd time, and the batter is Amari English. The Saints have stranded the bases loaded twice, including on a swing and miss on an elevated changeup from Olivia Conti, who is clearly sitting on Melchionda's fastball. English cracks that one into the gap. That's going to go all the way to the wall, and Amari English is going to have herself a double. Looks back at the dugout with a beaming smile stretched across her face. She is on with 1 out, with her team leading 8th extra base hit and 5th double of the year. When you take one look at Amari English, you can see that she's going to have some power to her. She's a big player, 5'10", and our coach thinks it's really the stability of having her in the same spot in the lineup, in the same spot in the field, as that one's botched over at second base by Penny. Jordan Toomey will reach on the E4. And instead of 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, they've got him cornered with 1 out. And Lauren Bethia, who singled her first time up, doubled and scored her 2nd time up, has a chance to do some damage here and pad the Beacons' lead. Melchionda has done well to work her way out of trouble when she's gotten into it, but the fact remains she is not pitching up to her usual standards, and the insurance run would be critical here. Bethia takes the first pitch for a strike. That 70% of the pitches have been strikes for Tiana Daw. 50% for Melchionda, actually a touch underneath that. Bethia cracks that one to short. Only play is to first. The run will score as English comes home, and the Beacons lead it 3-1.
The designated player, number 30, Caitlin Sawyer.
So an RBI ground out for Bethia. She scored a run, driven one in. There's a line, little pop shot actually over to second base, and retired there will be Sawyer to end the inning. But the Beacons tack on a much-needed insurance run, and they lead it 3-1 after 5 full. Melchionda back out there for the 6th. She'll face off against Emma Crisafulli, Christina Winstead, and Sammy Hayes, the 6 through 8 spots, should anyone reach the right fielder, Lila Niederberger, as well. Oh, and that one up by the chest. And back in Crisafulli off the plate. Emma popped to second her first time up, struck out swinging her second. It's the 5 through 9 spots in the order have not produced a hit. They have produced a walk and an E5, but that would be about it. It's the top of the order that's been doing most of the punching against Melchionda, especially a lot of the walking and getting hit by pitches, in addition to the 2 hits that Emmanuel's got, 3 hits that Emmanuel's got. Six outs left, at least 2 runs to get for the Saints. The sun just about to dip below the building line. Whole field's going to be in shadow in a moment. Melchionda checks the wrist. She's got a 3-1 offering coming home. And Crisafulli swings through the fastball. The command from Melchionda has not been what she wanted it to be, but the Saints have not proven themselves capable of catching up with that fastball reliably or consistently. Comes home just low, and another walk. Dangerous thing about the way Melchionda's been going is if they do get that big hit at the opportune time, this becomes a very different game. And Olivia Berry wants a conversation with the home plate umpire. The 5th walk issued by Melchionda. We're here in the 6th inning. Looks like we may have a switch here. I'm going to double check on this for you before confirming. Going to have a pinch runner for the designated player, Chris Afuli. Runner would be Tiana Dawes. There's a ground ball off the pitcher's glove at second, tagged onto first, and a double play. Haley Tilbury with a tag and throw. And before we can even get through the substitutions here, the Beacons with a critical double play. There were only 6 defensive outs left for the Saints to work with, and that was 2 of them right there. 4-3 goes Tilbury. So Daw was pinch running there after the Chris Afuli walk. She is the pitcher. She is the flex as well in this game. And then Winstead grounded into the double play. Sammy Hayes is going to come up with a clean set of bases now and 2 outs. She walked way back in the 3rd inning, advanced on a wild pitch, and then came around to score on an E5 on Bethia. See if she can jumpstart something with 2 outs, or else the Saints are going to have to make something work against Melchionda in the top of the 7th. Melchionda fires and a late strike call. 2-1. And for Hayes, she can't reach. It's going to be the 9-1-2 spots in the top of the 7th. Fist one off the hands. Toomey with an easy play at first. Melchionda is out of the inning, having faced the minimum for the 3rd time. And at the end of 5.5, 3-1 Beacons. Swinging up and missing at the first offering in the bottom of the 6th is Sophie Richland, the left fielder. She'll be followed by Haley Tilbury, who has recorded more outs than I would have thought humanly possible in the last 2 innings and change. And then by Sydney Sandin, the captain, in center field. For the Beacons, it's a chance for more insurance before Melchionda pitches the 7th. Slap hit, short right, falling down. Another knock for Sophie Richland. She is 3 for 4 on the day. She's setting the table very well for that top of the order. She's going to heap about 30 points on her batting average at this rate. And Haley Tilbury, who has recorded out after out. You saw the 4-3 double play a moment ago. From the 4th inning through the 6th, she has been just on her own responsible for 5 outs. Lofts one high, back pick at first, and shrugging as she steps back to the bases, Richland, as if to say, really? Tiana Daw, 51 strikes on 72 pitches. Tilbury pops that one into right center field. Converging is the right fielder, Niederberger, to make the catch. And with 1 out now, the batter will be Sydney Sandin. The number 3 hitter is a badge of honor in any softball squad, and Sydney Sandin has earned it. You've got 3 captains over on this Emmanuel side, just 1 Sandin on the Beacon side. Pops that one up, sailing foul. I asked Natalia Ardagna about it, why just the 1? She says, I got Sydney Sandin, I don't need anyone else. You think about, usually the tendency is you have a senior and a junior at the very least. The implication being the junior is going to be a 2-year captain. They get 1 year where they can be in that second position as Richland swipes the bag and continues to just eat up the Emmanuel defense in pretty much any way she knows how. But she said, you know, I was going to name a junior captain, but Sydney was doing so well, I just didn't need to. It's the ultimate vote of confidence from a coach, especially on a team that's got some freshmen and sophomores contributing in key roles. 2-1 the count to Sandin. Ground ball into the hole. Beautiful stop by Conti at short, but is not going to get Sandin. Still the same. The pick at short probably kept the run off the board for the moment. And an infield single for Sandin will bring up Bree Melchionda. It's a meeting on the mound here. Emmanuel College has gotten 1 run on 3 hits, 2 Beacon errors. The Beacons have gotten 3 runs on 12 hits and 1 Saints error. They have stranded, through 5 innings at least, 9 runners. Saints have stranded 7 through 6 innings. So both teams, I think, are going to look back on this. Whichever team loses this game will look back and think about what could have been had the timely hitting been there in a way that they would have wanted. With runners on, the Beacons are 6 of 18, which will get the job done. But against Melchionda with runners on, 1 of 11 for the Saints. They've done a lot of this through walks. They've had 5 walks. They've had a couple of hit batsmen. But ultimately, they have not had the hits to really clean up when they've had multiple runners in scoring position. You don't want to look too hard at Olivia Conti because by and large she's had a pretty solid season thus far through the first 12 games for the Saints. But a fielder's choice and a strikeout with the bases loaded. And she's, I think, going to be kicking herself just as a competitor for both of them. And Bree Melchionda now with Richland at third, with Sandin at first. Sandin, by the way, half stolen 3 out of 4. If you're curious about what happens when the Beacons want to try to take off the double play. Richland's at third in no small part because she did swipe second. And Melchionda shows bunt, pulls back. Sandin was on her way, but a tough pitch to throw on. And the 4th stolen base of the season for Sydney Sandin puts a second runner in scoring position. This is a Beacons team where I don't want to sit here and tell you every player's got a blank check to run whenever they want, but with advice from the coaching staff in practice and on the field, the base runners are generally empowered to choose their own level of aggressiveness. Ardagna wants them to be aggressive, wants them to make opposing pitchers think. But she says you talk situational awareness in practice. You make sure they understand how good a jump they actually need to beat the pitcher and beat the catcher. You let them run from there. In the right field, base hit Melchionda. Scoring is Richland around third, and on her way home is Sandin. It's a 2-run double for Bree Melchionda. And rowing the boat in delight out there at second base, the Beacons have doubled their lead. It is 5-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Three hits, 2 stolen bases, 2 runs in. And the inning is not over. There's still only 1 out. Lauren Miner, who's had a triple bookended by 2 looking strikeouts, will step in against Daw, who all of a sudden is looking very frustrated with herself, didn't get the release point that she wanted. For Melchionda, that was, you can believe it, for someone who's primarily a pitcher, her 5th double of the year in just 23 plate appearances. Or at-bats, I should say. Another one sails high, and Bethea's got a 2-0 count to work with. Correction, Lauren Miner has a 2-0 count to work with. Just catches a little nibble of the outside edge to avoid the 3-0 count. Miner, her coach says, is a player who's got a lot of power, a smart player, someone who has a very good awareness of counts and can read different pitches. She's seen the ball very well. She's out in front of that one. Didn't see that one as well as I think her coach would have liked. But by and large has been doing that well. She struggled a bit on defense. There's always a tricky thing to say about your shortstop. She's got a good arm and is unlikely to leave the lineup once she gets a chance to really settle in on her freshman season. Tipped into the glove, and that's the second out. So a swinging strikeout now. She's got a triple today, but 3 strikeouts to go along with it. And with a runner on second and 2 outs, the batter is Amari English. Doubled and scored her last time up, 1 of 3 on the day. LEC Player of the Week a couple weeks ago. Slaps that one foul, digs it out. Big strength, big strike zone standing up there at the plate, 5'10". One of the taller players in this game, but the Beacons have a lot of height here in the middle of the lineup. Lauren Miner is 5'11". Amari English is 5'10". Flies that one in foul ground over by first. It's going to be a pop out to end the inning. But the first multi-run inning of the game for either team as Bree Melchionda doubles home 2 for the Beacons. Last chance for the Saints, and it's looking a little bleaker than it was the last time they were at the dish, but still within reach if they can get a rally going against Melchionda. It's the right fielder, Lila Niederberger, and then back to the top. The center fielder, Taylor Chelik, and the left fielder, Julianne Pacheco. Niederberger, hitless in 2 trips, did a reach on an error and steal a base her second time up. Ground ball to Tilbury, routine smooth for her. Yet another out recorded by Tilbury. She has had a stellar defensive game. You might not know it just from the eye test because they've all looked pretty routine, but A, she's tackled all of them with aplomb, and B, has been a part of 2 double plays, including an alert back pick at second base, to help Melchionda face the minimum in the first. Off speed, high, ball 1 to the center fielder, Taylor Chelik, who's got 3 hits in 3 trips today, the only player on either team who has reached every time up. Popped foul. He's got quick hands moving that bat around. Emmanuel College in sore need of some base runners to make this one a contest as a changeup catches the outer half for strike 2. Melchionda checks the wrist. Comes home, slap to second. Tougher play for Tilbury, but a beautiful handle on the short hop. That one came up on her a little bit, bounced from the knee to the thigh, and she recovered well. You'll pardon me, I'm going to add this up a minute. If you want to count the double play, she has been involved in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 outs today. 10 outs of the 20. Half the outs in this game have been involving Haley Tilbury in one sense or another. She has not committed an error. Last chance rests in the hands of the pinch hitter, Madison Marks, in for Pacheco.
Pinch hitting for the Saints, number 15, Madison Marks.
So Pacheco was 0 for 3. Or 0 for 2 with a sacrifice, I suppose. Marks will come into bat for her. On the season, Marks has had 14 at-bats, 3 singles and a double in that span to go along with a few walks. Melchionda's 0-1 pitch, fouled away, and the Saints are down to their last strike. That one sails high. Victory will be delayed by a moment. On deck, should Madison Marks reach, is the second baseman Amanda Penny, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. That one slapped off to the left. Good amount of juice, but will not stay fair. You're going to have another game after this. Mackenzie Briggs for the Saints going against Emily Doble for the Beacons. Melchionda comes home. Looked like she was trying to throw the ball through Landry, the umpire, on the backstop with that one, but it sails high for ball 2. 2-2 the count. Melchionda looking for one more pitch, and that's not going to be it. It has not been the game Melchionda would like it to be. 46 balls against 48 strikes. But she has had enough. She's gotten out of trouble. Marks is continuing to cause some of at the plate, staying alive on the foul ball. Another 3-2 pitch to Madison Marks. Strike three swinging. Another complete game victory for Melchionda. She did not have the A-list location or even the B-list location, but she had the speed and the competitive energy to last through the order. And she strikes out Marks for the final out. It was a 5-1 win for UMass Boston, 13 hits for them to get it done. The Beacons are now 10-2 on the season. The Saints dropped to 6-7. We're going to have the second game for you coming up in about 20 minutes or so. It's going to be the same website where you're watching right now, but a different link. If you click on UMass Boston on littleeast.tv, you should be able to find it, no trouble. I want to give a quick thank you to Dave Wahlberg for producing the broadcast, to Grace Kelly for running from the laptop, to Liz Cramp on stats, to Malik Lorquette for his work manning the camera. I've been Milton Posner. Thank you so very much for listening. Once again, the final score from the first game of the doubleheader, UMass Boston 5, Emmanuel College 1. We'll see you in a few minutes, everybody.